Do you enjoy video games? But let me ask you this, do you enjoy owning video games? Well, I personally do, and this is a topic that I wanted to talk about in today's video, where we're gonna address a couple of things that may imply the future of gaming altogether. So
Let's hop into the intro.
hi and welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Vashal and this is Stelblade. And in today's video I wanted to talk about a serious topic that has been bothering me and a lot of other content creators and gamers out there that not a lot of people know about. And specifically I want to talk about a game called The Crew. Maybe some of you have watched my videos in the past and know very well that I did try to play The Crew not too long ago and I managed to beat it. This game has been made by Ubisoft and has been for quite some time now running, and in the last couple of months they decided to pull the plug and simply remove the game off all stores from purchasing and including playing. So the topic that I wanted to address was brought up by Ross from Accursed Farms, and he brought up a subject where obviously this is bothering him personally, where you pay for a product and whatever is the case, if that game is a game of service or is an online game only, the developers have the capacity to unplug the game if they decide that it's not making enough sales and simply yoink the game from your library, or not giving you any kind of access to play the game that you actually paid money for. Now, there are some games that might be free to play, but you would still pay money for microtransactions, for cosmetics, for stuff like that, and all of a sudden some developers will decide that they don't want you to have any more that skin or that item, and they would yoink it away from your library or from your inventory. I don't think that is a thing that I personally enjoy, and I don't think there's anybody out there where they like their stuff being taken away after they pay money. It's not like you go in a store, you buy a piece of clothing, you wear that clothing for a while, and all of a sudden that clothing store goes bankrupt, and all of a sudden the designer or the brand that owns that clothing store comes in your house and takes that away, not giving you access to have to your clothes. That doesn't happen in any kind of industry, just in gaming. And we've seen this happening with Ubisoft games, we've seen this happening with other games of service games. And I think it's a serious matter that we need to address, and to know exactly that this whole area is very shallow and is not very protected for us, the consumers. Of course, when we pay for something, we want to keep that particular thing and being able to play whenever we want to. Ross addressed this kind of stuff where whenever you're going and buying a game on the shelves, they are not actually mentioning not a single thing regarding the game being discontinued after a couple of months or years after purchasing the game. And I don't think that is fair when it comes to that. I do understand that holding and maintaining servers is fairly costly and difficult, but surely there has to be an option in which the players or the community gets to decide if they want to continue having those servers as a peer-to-peer server, or any kind of situation where people get to be able to still continue to play and support the game. Obviously, we do not have that kind of options and luxury at the time. Back in the days, we used to have this kind of situation where if you wanted to play a game online, even after years, you would have the peer-to-peer connection and you would play it like that. Nowadays, publishers and developers have decided that it is a better idea to sustain the server by building a server and just managing the server by themselves. But surely this comes with a series of problems such as this, where the game gets taken off the store, you cannot purchase it, and on top of that you cannot even access to play it. Now, The Crew is a particular strange game in my opinion, because even if you play it online, there's a lot of things that you can do in order for you to play it single player. A lot of the game modes require practically no multiplayer option, and oftentimes you can play it in a single player mode. I know I talked about it a little bit in the review and how disappointing it is, because if you think about it, that game has been developed by creative developers that wanted something out of it. They wanted to build a world and express themselves through that world. The gaming industry and games in general are, if you believe it or not, an art, even if it's really perceived by many that maybe it's not, especially those who do not understand what games are all about. It is a conglomeration of things that really creates a piece of art, in my opinion. And a lot of people, especially gamers, will agree with that statement. And I believe that we deserve to be able to preserve that art in whichever form. Now, there are other people like Mudahar who spoke about this kind of stuff for many years. I've been watching his content where obviously he was talking about physical media where we don't have any kind of preservation. And when we're talking about games that are being preserved, we have a very small percentage of old games that are being preserved. And while this is a major issue, this whole thing that is going on right now with the crew could actually have multiple complications in the future. Now, we've seen and heard many times developers talking about this kind of future where we need to get used to not owning games. And I do not agree with this kind of statement. I think that it's important that we know what is our rights, and when we pay for a piece of media, a content, an art, or whatever you want to call it, I think it is fair that we want to keep it and we want to use it whenever we want to use it. That doesn't mean that you do not want to support it, and we have to force you in order for you to support it, even if there are a couple of players that are actually playing the game, but at least giving us the option to be able to continue to play it in a single player mode or offline or any other way that, you know, gives the player an option to still use your product even after it has been discontinued. And I know that I'm talking about this kind of stuff, but Ross talks in this video for a good amount of time where he addresses all the things that he is trying to work on. He made sure that he provided all the information that you need in the video, so I urge you to go ahead after watching this video to check more details about this. I wanted to address this kind of stuff because particularly it bothers me as well. I own the crew. I bought it last year in July, I believe, and despite playing the game and not managing to complete the game because it's a massive game, it's a multiplayer game and offers a lot of content that I didn't manage to. I did play the campaign and I personally enjoyed it. I think it's a solid game that is worth checking out, and it's a shame that people don't get to be able to play the game after it's being discontinued, even if the campaign itself could be very well played as a single player game. So I think it's important that we address this one. So if you want to go ahead and check Ross's video, I urge you to do so. Now, he did talk about the fact that there is a campaign that he's working on in order to bring this forth to more people. That's why I made this video. I wanted more people to be aware about this kind of situation so that we can work together in order for us to make a difference and speak with the right government in order for them to take the right actions in order for us to have our rights in owning the games that we paid money for and being able to play them even if they're not being supported. And I think this is super important, and I think we cannot do this kind of actions without individually taking part in this. Now, Ross offers a website where you can go ahead and access all this kind of stuff with detailed information, step by step, very easy to follow, and I think it's better that you get all the information from here going forward. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to make a very long video about this kind of stuff, but I thought it's very important that we talk about this one since it affects me and other gamers that like to play games, like to own games, and we have to make a stance and make a difference when it comes to that. That's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you very much, and if you agree with this one, drop me a comment down in the section below. Also, if you want to check more information about this one, it's going to be in the description down below as well. And if you agree with this message, feel free to give a like and also subscribe for more content like this, and turn on the post notification bell. Whenever I post something new, you'll be notified and you'll be up to date. My name is Vasha. This has been a Tale Play discussion video, and as always, stay safe, take care, and happy gaming.